What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno in Buffalo here with a full review for you of the Motorola Atrix HD. This guy packs a lot of modern features in a minuscule price. Let's go ahead and run it through all its tests and see if it's worth your smartphone by $1. Alright, so before we get into everything the Atrix HD does, let's go ahead and talk about the thing that's most important with a phone, and that is call quality. This is actually one of the best, if not the best, sounding smartphones that I've tested, let alone smartphones on AT&T's network. The antenna in this guy is ridiculously strong. Our managing editor, Roy Choi, lives in an area where he very rarely gets any cell signal, whether it's 2G, 3G, or 4G from AT&T. He's able to get a pretty strong 4G signal on this guy. So if you live in a fringe area and you want something with a really strong antenna, this is going to be a great phone for you to pick up. Speaker quality was pretty decent. However, one thing that was noticed though, if you put the phone on any sort of uneven ground, it's actually going to block the speaker grill itself. Something to keep in mind, but if you turn it on its back, it's going to be quite loud for you. In our 20 call test, we actually had no dropped calls. That includes testing in what ordinarily would be fringe areas. So for call quality, the Atrix HD is going to be a hard phone to beat. Alright, so now that we know that it makes good phone calls, let's go ahead and talk about the specs. This guy packs a lot of punch, and it's under $100 price tag. So again, this is going to set you back $99 on a 2-year contract, although cheaper at some places if you know where to look. It's running Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. No plans for Jelly Bean upgrades quite yet, though presumably this will get it at some point. From a dimension standpoint, we're looking at 5.26 inches by 2.75 inches. By a pretty thin 0.33 inches, and it weighs 4.94 ounces. You're looking at a pretty gorgeous 4.5-inch HD color boost screen with a resolution of 720 by 1280. That gives it a 331 ppi, so a really high-definition screen here. Battery is totally non-removable, but it's going to give you about 9 hours of talk time. At least that's what Motorola claimed. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Being powered by a 1.5 gigahertz Qualcomm dual-core Snapdragon processor, so it's pretty well spec'd, augmented with a gig of RAM, 8 gigs of internal storage, expandable with micro SD. On the back, we've got an 8-megapixel camera that can shoot 1080p video, and of course, an LED flash. On the front, we've got a 1.3 megapixel sensor that can shoot video in 720p. Of course, it's got AT&T's 4G LTE and HSPA Plus fallback on it, and Bluetooth 4.0, available in 2 colors, white or titanium. Whew! All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the hardware of the Atrix HD. I haven't been the biggest fan of build quality Motorola phones in the past. Build quality on the Atrix HD is actually really outstanding. If you've ever used one of their Droid Razr phones on Verizon, this should be very familiar to you. It's got that water-resistant Kevlar back. It's not going to stop bullets, but it's going to make the phone very durable. Different from the Razr, though, the edges are a little bit rounded. They're not as sharp as what we've seen on the Razr. It didn't have the plastic feel that we get on, let's say, most Samsung devices. It feels really solid in the hand. A lot of that's due to the non-removable back. It's able to sit almost flush with the battery, and it really makes the phone feel really secure. When you try and bend it, there's no sort of bend or give at all on it. The screen here is absolutely gorgeous as well. This Color Boost HD screen with an HD resolution of 720 by 1280 is absolutely beautiful. Websites look awesome, text looks crisp and clear, pictures vibrant and pop. Video looks great on this guy as well, whether you're watching HD or standard definition. There's no sort of blue hue that you get with some AMOLED displays. This screen is absolutely gorgeous, probably one of the best that I've seen. In addition to having a gorgeous screen, things also pretty blazingly fast. The 1.5 gigahertz Qualcomm dual-core Snapdragon processor that's powering it really gives it plenty of speed. Our quadrant test brought in a score of 4,752, which is well on par with stock HTC One X's or US variant Galaxy S3. So you're getting a very modern phone here for just a little bit of money. One issue I did have with it, it uses on-screen buttons we've seen with Ice Cream Sandwich, but it's got an AT&T logo, a circular AT&T logo, right where you'd expect a home button to be. So oftentimes I'd hit that thinking it was a button. So something to keep in mind. It took a while to actually get used to it as well. Another hardware issue though, the power button on the side did feel a little bit squishy. I had to really make sure I knew that I pushed it. A minor gripe to be sure, but something to be aware of. Alright, so now we've gone to hardware. Let's talk about software. Gone is Moto Blur, and Motorola really let Android be Android. They've added a lot of widgets and a few custom things, but for the most part here, this is pretty much ice cream sandwich. And some of the stuff they've added is actually very useful. So some of their icons now have smart actions. If you look at different icons, there'll be little arrows to the left or right of them, depending on which icon you're looking at. If you look at mail, right here, there's an up and down arrow, which means if you take your finger and you slide it up, you're going to get some bit of information about it. So if I had an email account added here, it'd show me my inbox. Same thing with phones. It'll show me missed calls or my phone activity. It's very handy without having to launch the whole app. Sort of a widget inside of an icon. Something that I really liked as well. One thing that I like that Motorola brought over from the Razr phones is smart actions. Essentially, this helps bridge the gap, I guess, between ice cream sandwich and jelly bean. This does a lot of what Google now kind of does, but a bit more as well. So you can set different locations for where you are and different rules for those locations. So if you're home, for example, and you know you're home, you set a GPS location. You don't have to have the phone ask you for your password. Or if you're at work, you can have it stop giving you your Twitter feed or Facebook. You can really customize this quite a bit. Whatever you want to do, if you're at nighttime, whatever it might be, playing around with the smart actions was really fun and actually improved my usage of the phone. Another cool thing that Motorola did are these circles, which is surprisingly useful. There are these three little circles living here at the top. You get all kinds of information on it, and you can set it to customize whatever you'd like. So right here, we've got the clock. You can scroll up, and you can see that I've got the digital to analog. Weather, you can go ahead and add another city. If you scroll up there, you get some animation of a sun. So right now we are in East Irvine, 77 degrees here. Settings, you can customize that as well with all kinds of different stuff. So how much storage I've used and all that kind of stuff. And if you go ahead and tap it, you can get all kinds of other information there as well. A really welcome addition, and I think it's a very cool widget, and one I definitely thought was worthy of taking up my home screen real estate. Another nice thing they added is on the lock screen. So you go ahead and unlock the phone. You've got that sort of key in the middle, and you can go to left or right to do different stuff. So camera, I'll launch the camera. Right, will go unlock, up will go to phone, and down will go to text. You can tweak those as well if you want via Motorola software, even third-party launchers. You can also, from the home screen, set it to vibrate or ring, a feature that I really liked as well. Upper right-hand corner here, you can just flip that over, and you can switch whatever you're doing. Something that I really liked, I wish that most Android phones had a profile switcher, but that's definitely the next best thing. One knock on this, though, is that it's not running Jelly Bean. Not many phones right now, save for the Galaxy Nexus, are running Jelly Bean. Motorola hasn't said when this will be getting it, but if you're looking for a phone that's got the latest and greatest and bleeding edge specs, you know that might be an issue for you. Having used Jelly Bean for a few weeks on the Galaxy Nexus, it really led to a very smooth and enjoyable experience. Not to say it isn't smooth and enjoyable, but it does lack the, let's say, buttery smooth feel that the Galaxy Nexus does have. Last software edition that they did, when you go ahead and add a page, you can go ahead and option to add a template or just a blank page. Templates are sort of boring. AT&T services, social networking, entertainment, on the go. Essentially just put some widgets or shortcuts or app launchers right on your screen. Nothing you couldn't do yourself. Let's go ahead and go home. So I don't generally talk about cameras that much in my review, mostly because cameras on smartphones haven't been that impressive or aren't that important to me. But this one I think is important to talk about. The camera on the Atrix HD is slow, abysmally slow. Slower than really any other phone that we've tested. And Ice Cream Sandwich rather is supposed to be very fast taking pictures. A lot of shutter lag when you go ahead and take a picture there. When you do get a picture, they're blurry, they're noisy, especially white areas. There's sort of blue and white spots that show up over white areas. Compared to the Galaxy S3 or the One X, this camera is a major big fail. No macro settings here as well, which I also found to be disappointing. The video side, though, is kind of neat. You've got options for wind noise reduction, which is kind of cool. So the audio side of video was actually pretty good. Battery life. So Motorola advertised you're going to get 9 hours, and I promised I'd talk about this. I put the phone on a 2-hour call from 100%, and I just sort of left it, the screen off, and it dropped to 36% in 2 hours. So in our full hours of testing, we got about 7.5-ish hours of battery life on it. So well short of that 9 that Motorola advertises. So what's the conclusion here on the Atrix HD? Well, you can probably guess. It's a pretty awesome phone at an incredible value. While we wish it had modern features like NFC and fingers crossed for Jelly Bean, but most phones don't offer that, this packs a lot of punch in a $99 price tag, even $50 if you go to places like Best Buy. Really just packs a tremendous amount of value for the price. If you want a phone that's going to last you for 2 years, but you don't want to spend out that premium cash to go with it, Atrix HD is going to be a great choice. Not compatible with some of the older dock options that came with Atrix phones, so you can't plug this into a laptop dock, although you can do HDMI mirroring on it. I'm not going to be able to use any of these sort of the web top applications, but not many people use those anyway. So a great phone, whether you're on a budget or not. If NFC is not important to you, this phone is going to be a pretty good pickup. Don't plan on using it though to turn into next Ansel Adams or Peter Lick. Photographs are not going to be overly outstanding, but you are getting a really good phone at a good value. So this phone gets a Techno Buffalo rating of 7.5. Do you guys agree, disagree? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.